So that was Waltz in C major by Carcassi, and this comes from Carcassi's Method book, Op.59. Follow the lesson for free, and you can also pick up the free PDF sheet music. There's no sign up or anything required. You just follow the link in the description, and you can pick up the free PDF. This is part of a collection of easier works I'm putting together as a supplement to my Volume 1 and Volume 2 Method books. So just some extra pieces that you can play through before moving on to my graded system. So for this particular piece, I would probably recommend that you have started my Volume 2 Method book or have finished my Volume 2 Method book, depending on your confidence level. Nothing particularly awkward in the piece, but there's a little bit to navigate, and those 16th notes, depending on how fast you want to play them, you want a little bit of experience before you take it on. But like I said, either during or after my Volume 2 Method book. So I think what we'll talk about today is just making sure we have, the waltz, the feel of the piece. And then we'll talk about a couple of right-hand fingering ideas, and then just do a walkthrough of the piece. Before we do that, though, let's actually just discuss the tempo. So because there's 16th notes in this piece later on, and they're very easy 16th notes, they're just P, I, and M 16th notes, but you want to make sure that you pick a tempo that you can play those well. So, the first occurrence is at measure 11. So however, fast you can play those musically and comfortably, that can be your tempo for the piece. So you can go quite fast, but then your 16th notes will be quite fast. But you can go much slower and still make it sound very musical. 16th notes would be... The slower you go, just make sure you're making it really musical, really emphasize those dynamics, and really make it as legato as possible. So that's just a small word on tempo. Now, the waltz feel in this, although we're in 3/8 time, you could count it, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. But, really, you just want that first beat. So you're really just thinking here, 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 thump, thump. So if I were to tap my foot to this, it would just tap my foot on the first beat of each measure. And that's kind of the feeling. It's strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. But you can just really feel just that first beat and then just play through the other beats. So just keep your mind, keep the rhythm scheme nice and simple in your mind by just thinking of one beat. In terms of right-hand fingering, we'll generally try to alternate the fingers. There'll be a couple of places where we have to repeat fingers because of the 3-note chords. But in general, I'm just doing I and M for the most part. I, M, I, M, I, M. And then I'm playing these with M and A. M and A, I. So it works out really nicely. So just alternate for the upper voice, alternating your fingers. The lower voice gets played with the thumb. And when we get into these arpeggios in the second section there, I'm just using PIM. Even at the end there, M-I, M-I, M-I. In the third section, I just repeat the A finger. So we're playing those chords, even though that first A is written as a lower voice, I'm playing it with I, M, and A, and that's listed. This is all listed in the music, but just keeping that thumb reserved for the lower bass note there. And then, but when the 16th notes occur, I do switch back to I and M. Even on that measure there, I, M, back to the 3 fingers, A. So keeping it really nice and simple with the majority of time being I, M alternation. So we have a really nice 3-section piece here with some, contrast. The first section, we have some kind of dramatic dynamic changes from piano to forte. Middle section, we're just playing through is a little bit more movement, just mezzo forte. And then the final section, we go into the minor key in A minor, and it's a little bit softer in piano. So let's just do a walkthrough of the piece. There's really not much to talk about in terms of the left hand. The left hand is really very straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary to discuss. So yeah, you can pretty much just proceed and follow the fingerings on the page. So we want a little bit of contrast here, so soft. And then a little bit more here. Soft. More. And then mezzo forte. When we go into the final section, a little bit softer as well. I like to we're not changing the tempo at all and not even using what I would call rubato, but I like to be relaxed, push a little bit, relax. It's not even a tempo change, it's just more of like a psychological state of being. You're just relaxing a little bit with those longer chords, thinking more in terms of sustain. And when you have those running 16th notes, it's just like a little bit of excitement that you can push through a little bit. In terms of the repeats of this piece, first time through, you're just repeating each section as listed. So each section gets played twice, but when you do the DCL fine, just go through without the repeats to the fine. And that's kind of the scheme of the piece. So really nice little piece. There's lots of melody in there, although it's all wrapped in with the chords as well. But just keep that upper line nice and legato. And it has a classical balance, so you're trying to play it, relatively in a balanced way, not too much rubato or anything like that. Just thinking of those nice phrases that he presents. And in terms of when you're playing this, you can work on this piece quite a bit, but you just want to make sure that you are choosing a tempo that's right for those 16th notes. And then you can just take your time learning the piece. It's very straightforward, but there's a lot to it. As soon as you add in those dynamics and the 3 different sections, it's quite an interesting little piece with lots that students can work on in terms of performance practice. So you can spend a lot of time with this piece despite how straightforward it is.